This is the Troll Patrol, live with JustinFREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. My microphone's a little loud. I was doing voiceover. I had to turn it up. Check. God damn it. Mic check. Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. It's a freaking Monday. I'm not high enough for this shit. Anonymously, M-Lord, welcome in. Clinically, my friend, good evening. Welcome. I was red pegging. I'm not really into pegging, so. Bim Vox, welcome. Good evening. We're going to do a short one tonight. A lot of news be happening. Yet again, it's just another day. Yes, red pegging is when you prolapse the anus. No, I have IBS real bad, so. Too much info. I'm trying to clean this motherfucker. It was in your town anonymously. I'm sorry. And is it even the one that made the national news? Or was it just another one that only killed like one person and we didn't hear about it? Because it's just another day. Well, everybody was talking about the Christian school in Wisconsin. There's also a kid in Bakersfield that took a gun to school. Arrested. Ah! Been a while since I've used that. I forgot it flies at me. Oh. And winks at me. Shit. You scary little troll. No, he's not scary at all. He's a little washed out. He looks fine on my screen. Flipper and Tad, welcome in. I'm so glad to see everybody. Merry Christmas to everyone. We got a lot of shit to cover. Canada may have a Christmas present coming their way. The current Prime Minister may be resigning. Apparently, he is currently weighing his options following the surprise resignation of his finance minister earlier today. It feels way too bright, but yet I still I look a little shaded, don't I? Hold on. Up a little bit. Okay. Well, then why did it get that bright? Prometheus, welcome in. Hold on. Yes. Yes, that's how we want it. Finally doing some Canadian news, you damn right. Well, I mean, like, Canada's kind of boring. Unless there's something cool going on, like what we're going to talk about with Canada. Here is your meme of the day. Octua says, with a small investment in my cryptocurrency, you could make money like me. Your license plate says scamming. Has everyone heard CoffeeZilla confront her on Twitter Spaces? And her be like, all right, y'all, I'm going to bed now. Good night. It's amazing. Wait, did you name a color already? Want a blue bandit. Fuck, I think I put them up. God damn it. God damn it, Prometheus. Blue bandana. He took my chair. Here. That shit was hilarious. You're right, Meatcakes. Also, welcome in. Coffeezilla out here doing the Lord's work. I was telling my buddy about it, and he didn't believe Hawk 2 had got herself into some shit. And then I was like, no, Coffeezilla confronted her, and he's like, oh, Coffeezilla, okay. Like he believed it was real then. Man takes no prisoners. Spelled just like the South Korean PM. You goddamn right. What was his name? I was trying to think of it the other day. Huck Yuck Moon or something? Ah, that's kind of racist of me, isn't it? To say Huck Yuck Moon. But really, it was like Young Sun Moon or some shit like that, I think. Blue doesn't match the t-shirt I'm wearing. That's the only problem I have with it. I'm not high enough for this shit. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta talk about Hunduksu. You're just fucking with me. That's not it. You're just trying to get me to say racist shit. It isn't hard. We got the first statement from the ousted former president of Syria, Bashir al-Assad. Trump. Trump thinks there's more going on with the drones at the Biden administration. They know all about it. They're not telling us. He's getting fucking classified briefings again. Okay, fair enough. Hung duck soup. Duck, duck, goose. Minty, good evening. Judges ruled that Trump has no immunity in the hush money conviction. The Supreme Court does not apply. Their ruling does not apply to that conviction. An informant who tried to blow the whistle on the Biden crime family has pled guilty. Got video of a man who apparently was going nuts in a Motel 6 in Arlington, got shot by the cops. I believe this happened in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. This is going to be tonight's edition of What the Fuck is Up with Fort Worth. Cops in Fort Worth struck a man's feet 130-something times. An Ohio cop has been fired for falsifying records. People are outraged for a road sign talking about the death of former CEO of United Healthcare. Nigel Farage incredibly upset after a court appearance this morning where the OnlyFans model that struck him with the milkshake was given a lenient sentence. By the way, she's fucking hot. Out here doing the Lord's work, wore a Palestinian pin to court today. Flat Earthers made a trip to the South Pole and have admitted they're fucking wrong. Parents are threatening to cancel Christmas, all that and a lot freaking more tonight on the Troll Patrol Live. Good evening. Welcome. I'm not high enough for this shit. Light one up, tip one back. Of course, it's Monday, so we're going to be doing Live Music Monday directly after the show. Tonight, we're doing the record-breaking, all-time greatest concert. Just wrapped up a couple weeks ago We're going to be watching Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour. Not a big Taylor Swift fan. I have a couple of songs I like, but overall pretty meh. I like to go into these things with an open mind. Tonight we're going to see if Taylor Swift can win us over. DJ Dub, good evening. With the new camera, you can definitely see the gigantic lungbuster rips that I'd be taking from this fucking bong. Give me props. And the fact that I'm able to take these lungbuster rips and still do the stream. Of course, we're starting off tonight. I'm going to hit the content warning for it. Ironic, welcome in. You all know it's just another day. We are getting new details. Apparently, a female shooter who was a rad film, maybe a rad trad, whatever the fuck. We're still very early in getting information about the shooter, so we don't want to jump to conclusions. But that appears to be the case. A 17-year-old can get me every time.
Lee school shooting in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm Terrence Lee.
I'm Sylvia Perez. 2 people are dead, several others injured.
The shooter, a teenager, is also dead this afternoon. The shooting happened at Abundant Life Christian School.
She was apparently a turf.
With about 390 students.
Madison police confirm a teacher and a teenage student were killed. The gunman was also a student. Police say that family is cooperating with investigators.
Dane Blacko is in Madison. Dane, what have you learned?
Yeah, we have new information from a news conference that ended within the past hour. The Madison police chief saying that the teenage school shooter is dead, but the investigation into what triggered that shooting is just now beginning.
Today truly is a sad day for Madison and for our country. It is a day that I believe will live in our collective minds for a very, very long time.
Madison.
Nope, they're going to forget about it tomorrow.
They got the call of an active shooter.
Be a different shooting.
57 this morning. Officers are responding within minutes to the Abundant Life Christian School and finding multiple people shot inside
Move the fuck on.
The gunman, a teenage student at the school, was dead of a self-inflicted gunshot. A teacher and another teenage student were both killed, and at least 6 other students were rushed to the hospital. 2 of those students still in critical condition with life-threatening injuries. Now, the school is a private Christian academy with roughly 350 students, ranging from kindergarten all the way through high school. Police say they had no prior contact with the gunman at the school or any warnings that he was a danger. Investigators obtained search warrants and are currently searching the gunman's home. Police say a handgun was recovered at the school and that the shooter's family is...
Are they reusing an old report? Because they started off the news report saying that this was a 17-year-old girl. He said gunman and he multiple times.
Cooperating. Now, buses were seen picking up the students outside the school, taking them to a medical building a few blocks away where they were reunited with their parents and loved ones.
That's what DJ Dub, that has been what I have heard. But as we have learned many times with situations like these, they're fluid. Sometimes the internet gets things wrong and they have the wrong person. They were looking at something completely different, but that is what I'm led to believe thus far. I'm assuming that was a report that he had done earlier before they had the information that it was a female.
The police chief says it is way too early to speculate about a motive.
Many of you have asked me about the why of this. Why did this happen? What do we know? What was the motivation? I do not know. But I will tell you this, our detectives are working hard in the investigative process to find out as many answers as we can so that we can further prevent these things from happening, not only in this community, but in other communities around our country.
Our focus now is on supporting them and supporting the victims and their families. And we will continue to do that through the coming days and weeks.
Now, other Madison public.
I was just telling my buddy the other day, like, it's been kind of quiet in terms of school shootings this year. Glad I came back just in time to be able to cover the next one. Remember, kids.
Public schools were put on lockdown after the shooting as a precaution. That has now ended. We're told that we're going to get more information at a news conference coming up at 5:30 this afternoon. Live in Madison, Wisconsin, Dane Placco, Fox 32 Chicago.
And Dane, we know President Biden's been briefed on this shooting. Right now, the White House hasn't announced a national address, but we are hearing from state leaders and lawmakers as well in Wisconsin, including the governor on X. Tony Evers wrote, "We are praying for kids, educators, and the entire Abundant Life school community."
According to the Gun Violence Archive, there have been at least 83 school shootings in the U.S. so far this year, 27 on college campuses, and 56 were on K through 12 school grounds. Despite a drop during the COVID pandemic, school shootings have been on the increase in America. In 2012,
Why does the graph go backwards?
when Sandy Hook occurred on December 14th of that year, 20 first graders and 6 staff were killed.
I avoided using the bathroom whenever I could. I feared that someone would come in through the window while I was in there and try and harm me. I will not accept the fact that kids do not feel safe in school.
And we cannot let our fear and loss calcify into apathy and accept a state of permanent violence.
That happened a long time ago.
Last week, Connecticut Democrats joined with survivors and victims' families on Capitol Hill calling for tighter gun control. Sandy Hook remains one of the deadliest school shootings in U.S. history.
And we are also just learning the AP is saying now that the shooter was a 17-year-old female student. Again, that's just coming down as soon as we learn more about that information that we're just now getting about the shooter.
This report was from...
We want to continue this conversation and get a local perspective here. In 2018, a school resource officer,
possibly about 3 hours ago,
Dixon High School, Denny Langloss was serving as city manager at the time, but
maybe
he's also
4.
the
It says
former
it's 4
Dixon police
o'clock.
chief who led the training that prepared that team for that moment.
I think Wisconsin is Central Time.
His perspective. Thanks for being with us. I want to get right into this. Based on what we know about the shooting today, what stands out to you about how this shooting unfolded?
You know, a shooting like this is a parent, a school, police department, a community's worst nightmare. And we just want to send our condolences to the families who lost loved ones and those with loved ones who are still fighting. And it looks like the response from the police was textbook. I did read some things on this. They've been doing the active shooter training. They've been into the classrooms, and they were very prepared. Unfortunately, we can be as prepared as we can be and still have these horrible, horrible outcomes.
Yeah, absolutely. And we learned today, to your point, a group of officers were training for this type of scenario just about 3 miles away. It just highlights the importance of the preparation you were talking about. Talk to me about what part of training do you think kicked in as soon as they got to the scene?
You know, from the active shooter side, there's multiple components to this. There's the ALICE training that happens
2 of the victims have been released from the hospital.
within the schools where the students and the teachers are actually trained. There's the pre-planning, and then there's the active shooter response. And at that moment when you arrive, it could just be one police officer, no backup. You're going in immediately. You're trying to identify where the threat is. You're trying to protect as many people as you can and eliminate the threat. And the good news is that when you train as much as departments like Madison does, it just becomes automatic. It's instinctual. You don't think at all. You just go.
What parallels, if any, are you seeing between what happened in Dixon and the tragedy in Madison today?
You know, a couple of the parallels, it's obvious there's a ton of planning, a ton of training, and it's just the trauma. It's the impact of the community.
Motherfucker, I don't give a shit about the cops. They're training. Fuck off. Let's hear from students and parents who were in the school.
Sources here in Madison say that police were able to clear that school in a matter of minutes. Firefighters say
Socialist Dawn, good evening.
Injured students to hospitals.
This is like the latest news report I can find. This was posted in the last 30 minutes. So it's probably their 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock news.
15 minutes, but now tonight, nearly 7 hours after that shooting, there are parents who are still reuniting with their children for the first time. Ambulances scream through the streets of Wisconsin's capital city. Once again, gunshots.
Which is a gorgeous fucking city.
American classroom. This time inside a small
Dougie.
School.
Good
This
evening.
is not a place that any fire chief or any one of us would ever want to be. And I can't believe I'm standing here today talking about this incident.
Moments before 11 a.m., police say a teenage student armed with a handgun took aim at fellow classmates and teachers at Abundant Life Christian School. Hundreds of students inside the school.
Abundant Life.
We went out the side of the building to the church. Yeah.
Did you have any idea what was going on? Did you know it was a shooting?
I guess so, because I saw around. But when we went outside, there was a cop with a massive gun, so I guess
massive gun.
It was a shooting.
All too familiar images of panicked parents racing to their children's school, desperate to hold them, played out outside the K-12 academy. Freshly trained police officers and firefighters raced into the school, not knowing exactly what they might encounter.
Why do they keep talking about their training?
Into words what they ran into.
Our commanders, including the fire chief and I, was in a commander's training less than 2 weeks ago, going over this exact same scenario for another fictional location. And so all
somebody knocking on my doors and that in the audio.
Threat, stop the killing, find the threat.
By the time they got there, police say the shooter was already dead. So too were another student and teacher, and 6 others injured. Police say 2 of them are now clinging to life. Now, a
2
mother
people have
of
been
3
released.
young boys is just beginning to deal with the wounds that shooting will leave forever on her family.
I finally got them, and thank God they were safe. But the trauma, it's a lot, because I'm sure they lost friends and teachers, which is not okay. And I don't think they will be okay for a long time, and I'm not.
These are just the physical injuries that we know about. We know that this was the middle of the day of a school day, and so there will be other injuries that we'll have to face for a very, very long time.
Now, that trauma has been readily apparent on the faces of multiple parents and students we've seen coming out of this hospital tonight. Just a few minutes ago, we spoke with a 2nd grade girl who was still shoeless after that shooting, who described the screams she heard inside her school earlier today.
Watch breaking news on YouTube. Subscribe to...
The kid's poor and doesn't have any shoes and gets called out about it on the fucking national news. Seriously? What the fuck? Just adding insult to the fucking gun injury. What the hell, lady? Sorry. Let's go to Canada. Prometheus, you still here? You want to sing the Canadian national anthem before we do Canadian news? I wanna make you feel at home. I only know, because of wrestling, I only know the first part, right? Because Hills will start to sing it, and then they'll get attacked. Oh, Canada. Something, something. Da, da. Da, 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 da. It was horrible. I'm sorry. I'll see myself out. I'm sure that Canadians are not feeling very... I'm sorry. I apologize, but I ran people off. People left. And I completely get it. Totally understand. I should not have done that. There's chaos in Canada's parliament as Justin Trudeau's finance minister has resigned hours before an economic update was set to be delivered. Trudeau said to be weighing his options on what to do moving forward.
Just to underline the chaos we're faced with here, the finance minister resigned the day she was to present the fall budget. which was going to contain a massive deficit overrun. The job then went automatically to the industry minister, who immediately resigned, like on the spot, which then went down the line, and the next person in order was famous two Randys. And they're not available to do the job either. We're now less than 2 hours away from the fall economic update. Why won't the Prime Minister have the courage to come in here, present it himself, and put it for a confidence vote tonight?
Here. What's with all the green? Looks like the 70s.
The leader of the opposition continues to play politics in this place. We look forward to presenting the fall economic statement later this afternoon that will have a series of important measures for Canadians. Things that are going to help them with the affordability challenges, that are going to put Canada, Canadian jobs, and the Canadian economy first. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
People can't afford their groceries. People can't find a home to call their own. And the Conservatives are laughing.
Order!
Who's this little, like, she seems like she's like a sergeant in her arms kind of position. Is that what somebody Canadian tell me? Like, because like she looked like she's getting ready to bust somebody's ass right there. If they didn't settle down. Did you see that?
Order!
Like, oh, I'm sorry.
Just another
He looks tiny though. Not saying that she's not dangerous.
From the top, please. Canadians literally cannot afford the groceries they need. They can't afford to find a home to call their own. And now Trump, buddies of the Conservatives, MAGA Conservatives love this guy, Trump is threatening hundreds of thousands of jobs in Canada. And the Prime Minister is more focused on himself, on infighting. The Prime Minister cannot remain in that position. Will he resign?
This is not the time for slogan. This is not the time for partisanship.
They laughed at him.
Time to make jokes, Mr. Speaker. This is about rallying for Canadians. This is a time where Canadians needs to know that this House and all the members are standing behind them, that we're going to invest in Canadians, that we're going to invest in this country, that we're going to invest in our workers, and that we're going to invest in our industry, Mr. Speaker, and that we're going to prepare Canada to be the best prepared to be able to deal with our U.S. friends. Mr. Speaker, this is the time where we show that we are all Canadians.
The NDP leader is absolutely right. This cannot continue. This Prime Minister cannot go on like this. Housing costs have doubled. Food bank use has doubled.
This is the Conservative.
Gun crime has doubled. And now we face troubling tariff threats from a president who can see weakness coming from a mile away. The Prime Minister must leave this job, but there's only one person who can remove him, and that's the leader of the NDP. Will he put the country ahead of his pension and vote for a carbon tax election now?
I'm fascinated.
And stand by each other. Hours before delivering the fiscal update, the finance minister resigned. She lost confidence in the prime minister. Last night, the failed housing minister,
the
worst immigration minister in the history of this country, also resigned. A couple of Randys, and now they're up to 9 ministers that need to be replaced. He's lost control of the government. The party of backroom boys is over. The backbench should look up from their laptops, and the NDP leader shouldn't be the only one in this house with confidence in the prime minister.
It's like Britain, but bizarro. It's wild.
Present the statement and call a vote today.
Hear, hear. I'm not sure who she's talking about, but I'm still here for now. I can guarantee you, Mr. Speaker, that there are 2 kinds of people who run for office in politics. There are people who want to do something, and there are people who want to be somebody.
He's a liberal.
I can tell you, on our side of the house, we want to do things. We want to build the houses to make sure families can afford to put a roof over their heads. We want to make sure families
can afford to keep their food on the table to feed their kids. We want to make sure people can find a job to go to that gives them a sense of pride and allows them to contribute to their communities. On the conservative side,
yeah, that's a liberal.
Writing essays about why he should be prime minister since he was a teenager.
This prime minister has lost control. He's lost control of the economy. He's lost control of immigration.
This dude's a conservative.
He's lost control of so many files.
William Chong.
He's lost control of the government. It's long past time for an election.
Who's she? She can be my conservative mommy.
This prime minister has sat too long here for any good that he has been doing. In the name of God, will he go to Rideau Hall, call an election, and end
that fucking mustache? Man had an amazing mustache.
As you well know, and as every member in this place knows,
this is a
just
liberal.
because a conservative member of parliament wishes something does not mean that it actually happens. But what happened over the past couple of weeks, Mr. Speaker, is the government secured the confidence of this House. And the government does enjoy the confidence of this House, Mr. Speaker, and that is why we will be presenting the fall economic statement later today, which we look forward to sharing with Canadians. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Did we get that economic statement? Is that what's going on here? They table it.
The Honourable Leader of the Government in the House of Commons is rising on her feet.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Pursuant to Standing Order 32, I have the honor to table in both official languages
the honor
Fall Economic Statement 2024.
I see that the honourable member from Perth Wellington is rising on his feet.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Now that the fall economic statement has been tabled, I believe we do now proceed to questions to the minister. So I'd like to ask the government to stand in this place and tell us exactly how big the budget deficit was last year. How much did they blow past the $40 billion? Is it a big deficit?
Yes, let us know.
Deficit.
Order. Order, please.
Why is he dressed like a vampire? Was that what they were over? 62 billion from Prometheus? This had to have happened in just the last couple hours.
Rising on a point of order, the honourable member from Kitchener Centre was first on his feet.
Greg Fergus, the Speaker of the House of Commons.
The fall economic statement has been tabled. I wonder if there might be unanimous consent.
Boy meets Minnie, what's going on?
Have a 20-minute round of speeches and 10 minutes of questions and answers, as was already planned to be the case.
Can I have the air?
Stop muting the mics. Let us hear. If you're just joining us, this is the British Parliament. British. Fucking Canadian. It's bizarro British Parliament. Pretty much the same shit. The finance minister resigned hours before she was set to
I'm going to ask the honourable member from
present the budget.
Please repeat his request for unanimous consent.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So was it 11 total cabinet positions
now have
resigned?
Parties offered the opportunity for 20 minutes for a speech and 10 minutes of question and answer afterwards, including the Green Party.
All those opposed to the honourable member moving the motion will please say nay.
Tabled means they, like, set it aside, right? They're wanting to ask questions, but she doesn't have the budget.
Order.
Am I understanding that correctly?
I understand that there isn't unanimous consent. I'm going to ask the honourable member from Capel.
This is more fun than our country. Our country's more fucked up.
Is on his feet.
Mr. Speaker, and I just want to remind you that the order that the House adopted was very, very specific. Notwithstanding any standing order, special order, usual practice of the House, at 4 p.m. on Monday, December 16th, the Speaker shall interrupt the proceedings to permit the Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, to make
They overshot their budget deficit by $20 billion.
And comments. After the statement, a member from each recognized opposition party, a member of the Green Party, may reply for a period approximately equal to the time taken by the minister's statement. So a minister of the Crown just came in and made a statement. Her statement was that she was tabling the fall economic update. That is the statement. At the very least, Mr. Speaker, there should now be a 10-minute period of questions and comments. She chose to have a very short statement. Nothing we can do about that. She came in, tabled, and then ran it out before there could be any accountability or scrutiny. I believe the most logical thing for the chair to do is to accept that as the statement that it was.
Oh, it means to present formally for discussion.
On the state of the Liberal government right now. And at the
I had it backwards.
Opposition parties and opposition members to ask questions of the government as to what was in that statement, as to what was in the fall economic update. Yes.
I thank the honourable member. I see that the honourable government house leader is rising on a point of order. The honourable
Who doesn't like pussy's grease?
Secretary of the government house leader is rising on a point of order.
Curious, sir. Good evening.
Government House Leader stood actually on a point of order, tabled documents. It's as simple as that.
So I thank the honourable...
So they presented the documents, but they didn't do the discussion part. So I don't think they actually tabled it.
Members who are rising on a point of order. I have not heard the honourable... I have not heard...
Again, the Canadian government is in chaos.
Leader of the...
I'm sensing a pattern.
Of the...
This happens it's happening in France.
Westminster Burnaby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I mean, this is a fundamental tenet of parliamentary democracy.
They happen in England again.
We've just had the tabling of the document. So if you seek it...
That's old news, Prometheus.
Anyone respecting democracy...
We've totally seen Ford
the following motion, that notwithstanding any standing order, special order, or usual practice of the House, immediately following the adoption of this motion, the Speaker shall interrupt the proceedings to permit one member...
France's government's in a free fall right now. I'm just saying that governments are collapsing all over the world.
By a period of up to 10 minutes for questions and comments related to the fall economic statement.
Hear, hear.
All those opposed to the honourable member moving the motion will please say nay. I see that the honourable member from... I was going to say the honourable member from Okanagan, Similkameen Nicola, is up on his feet.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Get on your feet.
$1 billion spending in here. And the fact is, I came prepared at my seat.
Okay, I'm going to stop singing.
Went through in great detail exactly the process for the fall economic statement, and the government has reneged. A drop-off drive-by of a tabling where the minister spun around and walked right out. That is contemptuous of the agreed to motion that we would all be here today to undertake a democratic scrutiny of the government. The government cannot pick and choose its role. It is subservient to this House. I would ask you find them in contempt, Mr. Speaker, because obviously the government is not prepared to allow any other process. This was something, Mr. Speaker, that makes not only myself and this whole House look bad, it looks terribly upon you.
The coalition is collapsing.
Our rights as parliamentarians.
I use the right verbiage. Don't try to correct me.
A mechanism, perhaps a contempt motion, that they have been found in contempt in their duties to this House.
I'm going to fight Prometheus.
Sorry.
Feeling Randy tonight.
From Dufferin Caledon, forgive me, is up on his feet on a point of order. The honourable member.
Speaker, the regular proceedings today were interrupted for an order. It is a mandatory order. There are different kinds.
I'd fuck him.
The language could have said may. May is permissive language. And if the order said
he wants to be permissive with me
as to how to proceed. Right. But the proceedings were interrupted in the face of a specific order, and the order says the Speaker shall interrupt the proceedings to permit the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance to make a statement, followed by a period up to 10 minutes. If they chose...
Fascinating. We're going to be following this. Does Trudeau outlast the lettuce? Does Trudeau outlast the lettuce? Somebody get that lettuce going. Someone who did not outlast their lettuce was Bashir al-Assad, ousted in Syria, giving his first public statement since the fall of the Assad regime.
Okay, breaking this morning, ousted Syrian President Bashar al-Assad appears to have issued his first statement since the fall of his regime over a week ago, giving new details about his final hours in Syria before being evacuated to Russia. A statement was posted to the social media account of the Syrian presidency. It claims Assad was moved from the capital of Damascus to a Russian airbase in Syria on the morning of December 8th as the rebels moved in. He claims the base came under, quote, intensified attack by drones before Moscow ordered an immediate evacuation that evening. He also says that at no point during the events did he consider, quote, stepping down or seeking refuge. Now, with the fall of his regime, many now wonder what the future holds.
I mean, he did.
CBS News senior foreign correspondent Holly Williams has more from eastern Syria.
We have spent the last several days here in eastern Syria with American-backed forces that control around a quarter of the country. In the city of Raqqa, that's the former ISIS capital, the headquarters of the so-called Islamic State, we saw those American-backed forces patrolling city streets where they've brought stability and security. But the American-backed forces are worried that the collapse of the Syrian regime in Damascus and a power vacuum that may develop in its aftermath could give ISIS an opportunity to try and stage a comeback. There are even concerns that ISIS could try to join up with some of the rebel forces that toppled the regime. We also visited a high-security jail in this region holding thousands of ISIS prisoners. Now, a prison break there in 2022 led to a 10-day battle to regain control, and the jail remains a major target for ISIS operatives that still exist here as sleeper cells and hideouts in the desert. The jail's warden told us that they are not telling the prisoners that the regime in Damascus was toppled because it could, quote, create disobedience. He believes that ISIS is mobilizing. Back to you.
Oh, Flash, I've heard this story before. There are jihadists. Stop me. Oh, I'm sorry. I will stop fucking singing. You want to see Bashir al-Assad's palace? Let's do it.
Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad lived in a palace on a hill high above Damascus. Now it's under control of the rebels who overthrew him. Today they gave us an exclusive tour inside.
Can understand why he wouldn't want to leave this.
Assad and his wife seem to have modern tastes. You are first greeted by the grand atrium, accented by a classic wood-paneled library. Upstairs was for the family only, the apartment where the rebels say Assad lived.
You could tell this was really the inner sanctum because everywhere here there are thick bulletproof doors. They are extremely, extremely heavy, solid metal, electric keypads. This could have been sealed off, but in the end, it didn't do him any good.
All the security was to protect his bedroom, ransacked after he fled.
There's something curious whenever you go to someone's house. People always want to see their bathrooms, just get a sense of how they lived. Well, this was Assad's private bathroom in here with a jacuzzi tub. Can't imagine he'll be living this well in exile in Russia.
Today, the new interim government
I'm sure he's not living bad.
Cash flow didn't seem to be a problem for the man at the top.
Ah, his personal barber chair.
I remember these videos about Saddam Hussein.
Him here,
his palace,
getting ready for the day.
Assad lived well as a dictator until it all ended for the man accused of being responsible for the deaths of 500,000 Syrians, all to protect his life of power and luxury.
Rebels we've spoken to here in Damascus say they want Assad to be sent back from Russia and tried here for war crimes. Lester?
Thanks for watching.
Shut up, Lester. Law Dog, welcome. Good evening, Llama, welcome in. Oh, I bet Erdogan's house is insane. Speaking of Trump, Trump gave a press conference earlier today. He thinks there's something going on with the whole drone thing.
A special drone detection system now being deployed here in New York State as it comes as authorities continue to investigate several reported drone sightings in the last month. Fox Eye's Lisa Evers is live in Mahwah, New Jersey with the very latest reports and concerns from residents and lawmakers there. Lisa.
Well, Bianca, the calls for action about the number of drones flying in the skies here in New Jersey and New York is growing, as are the frustrations of local and state officials who can't seem to get any definitive answers from
I was thinking it must be an Indian name.
With the busy air travel season upon us, there are great concerns about airline and air safety in general. Hundreds of sightings of drones appearing at night in the skies over New Jersey and New York for more than a month.
Yeah, this is next to the woods, isn't it?
Solo, but other times there are dozens of them, even flying in organized
Have you seen any drones?
Witnesses say they range in size, all of them unexplained. Some have been sighted over military installations and near airports. Over the weekend, Stewart International Airport in Orange County, New York, had to be temporarily shut down due to a safety threat from drone activity. Officials say the drones do not show up on the regular FAA flight radar screens, and Senator Chuck Schumer is asking Homeland Security to deploy drone detection technology, similar to what's been used to prevent airstrikes by birds. But New Jersey Congressman Josh Gottheimer has had enough. He's just moments ago, short time ago, he's calling on the feds to come clean. Here's what Gottheimer had to say.
The feds to come clean.
Introducing a resolution in Congress calling on the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, and the FAA, the lead agencies, to publicly brief on what they know about the drones. Not a paper statement.
What do they know? I don't get any of this. How do we not know what's going on with these drones? How are there shits up in the air that the government hasn't taken care of yet?
But actually get out there and do a proper public session where they review what they know and take questions. I believe the people who I represent.
Planes over New Jersey hit by lasers.
The people in New Jersey around the country deserve clear answers.
Soundbite? Yeah. Now, just a short time ago, President Trump held a press conference in which he addressed the drone situation. Here's what President-elect Trump had to say.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying,
where did you come from? Where did you go?
Our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people. And
now, the frustrations of the regular residents here who have to deal with this, not knowing what they're going to see in the skies or where they are, as well as the statements made by many people, professional law enforcement here on a state level, as well as military personnel, all of whom were on active duty while they had drone sightings, is also intensifying these concerns. We're going to be following this story.
And then is it mass paranoia? Does it like compound each other? People start looking up in the sky and looking for them. Could be something Elon's doing. Somehow it was some kind of spy ship from Doge. The laser thing might have been in this report that I had.
Jersey State Assembly. Assemblyman Coughlin, New Jersey State officials, thank you for being with us. First of all, let me thank you for that. This is right in where you live. You know, a lot of issues sometimes don't hit your backyard, but this one does. I guess they've been.
But it's all over the world. People all over the world are seeing drones.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on, Terry. I appreciate being here. What we have heard is a lot of discussion about how we don't have anything to worry about, but no real answers that can really help put people's minds at rest. It's hard to have a conversation in New Jersey these days with anybody and not talk about the drone issue. It is something that is at the top of the minds of New Jerseyans and something that I think we need real clear answers about. And candidly, I think we're all frustrated. I know the governor is, I am, my colleagues are, at the lack of a clear answer about what's going on. You can't tell us we don't have anything to worry about and then tell us we don't know what they are. I mean, those two things are not consistent. And so that's what we're seeking. We're seeking some real answers about what's going on.
That's for sure. Those are inconsistent things to say. Don't worry about anything, even though we don't exactly understand.
We don't know what the heck it is, but don't worry about it. Yeah.
So, I mean, that doesn't add up. Look, do you get the sense that they don't know actually the full story, and that would be concerning, or that this is some kind of bad PR strategy of respecting the concerns of your constituents, which they're doing so much that it makes them sound foolish?
And at the risk of being redundant, I actually don't know. It could be any number of things, right? One of the things that there are all sorts of wild theories. And by the way, that's another reason to make sure people have clear answers so that there aren't wild theories being circulated on internet and other places.
Oh, come the fuck on.
Perhaps the government knows exactly what it is and it's some
wild theories on the internet? No, that never happens.
Of things, right? One of the things that there are all sorts of wild theories. And by the way, that's another reason to make sure people have clear answers so that there aren't wild theories being circulated on internet and other places. The other theory is that, well, perhaps the government knows exactly what it is and it's some sort of a training exercise or things like that, and they're just not telling us because they don't want to create public panic. Well, if the goal was to prevent public panic, there's been an epic failure. But the truth is, if it is
training exercise for what?
You know, I heard your colleague talking about how we may not be used to things in the air. The truth of the matter is, I live in the central part of the state, and I live not far from Newark Airport, and between Newark and Kennedy and JFK, three of the busiest airports in the world. We're really used to air traffic over our heads, and so there is something significantly different that is causing people to be a part of it. We're hearing from people in parts of the state that routinely don't have that same kind of air traffic, in the northwest part of the state, in the southern parts of the state. So it's all over, and it's something that we would really benefit from having a very clear sense of what they are. If they are drones that are legally there, then tell us. We've discovered that they're there, and here's where they belong to, and thing is okay. Then we can start to move forward.
Yeah, well, I hope you get some of those answers, Assemblyman, and come back on and share them with us. Appreciate it.
They didn't tell us fucking shit in that. I don't know. What would they be doing that's classified? Oh shit, Torchy, what you got? Let's light one up, tip one back. It's about that time. Monster Balls, welcome in. Okay, I've got multiple friends that are saying we're getting ready to see an alien invasion, and then all of a sudden this drone shit happened. Were you deploying drones to try to detect for the alien invasion or some shit? Listen, we got an expert here.
Generally speaking, the bigger a propeller that's spinning is, then the louder, lower frequency it travels farther. So think of a helicopter.
Lenny, welcome in.
Flying by and how loud that is and how far away.
Have you seen any drones?
Drones are smaller still. So typically the pitch of the noise that they're creating is often quite high, although it varies. And but the other characteristic of this is that the higher the pitch,
this is super
sour. You're going to hear it from. Manned aircraft maneuver smoothly. Drones don't have to. You know, these, particularly the multi-copter.
Super sour is what I'm smoking.
They move. They can change direction.
Did you see Bigfoot?
On a dime. So you can reverse their course. You can turn them 90 degrees, and they basically just change direction. So that kind of motion can give you a clue that you're looking at a drone, not an aircraft.
That is a good question. Why are they going to New Jersey? That wouldn't make any sense. Judge says that Trump has no immunity. The hush money case happening in the last couple hours here. Judge on Monday rejected President-elect Trump's bid to have his hush money conviction dismissed because of the U.S. Supreme Court's recent ruling on presidential immunity, but the case's overall future remains unclear. Manhattan Judge Juan M. Merchan's decision eliminates one potential off-ramp for the case ahead of Trump's return to office next month. His lawyers have raised other arguments for dismissal, however. Prosecutors have said there should be some accommodation for his upcoming presidency, but they insist the conviction should stand. A jury convicted Trump in May on 34 counts of falsifying business records related to a $130,000 hush money payment to porn actor Stormy Daniels in 2016. The allegations involved a scheme to hide the payout to Daniels during the final days of Trump's 2016 campaign to keep her from publicizing and keep voters from hearing her claim of a sexual encounter with the married then businessman years earlier. He says nothing sexual happened between them. Stormy's account was that. Was it sexual? Could you say it's sexual? If you saw his little fucking Vienna sausage wiener, you could say it's sexual, right? He was naked in front of her. I do believe he did fuck her at some point in time. Apparently raw dogged her, if I remember correctly. I'm sorry, why am I going into that? I'm probably confusing details of shit because it's been so long. But like it's always stuck with me because he said something about like they wanted to order a room service and they're like he's naked in bed with his robe on. And he's talking about like little miniature pizzas. He wanted like hot dogs on the little miniature pizzas. It was wild. Why does shit like that? Why does that stick with me? A former FBI informant pleaded guilty to lying about a phony bribery scheme involving the Biden crime family.
Come on, man.
Do I retire Biden or do I keep him around? I like that one. I don't know if I want to get rid of it. It comes in handy. A former FBI informant pleaded guilty on Monday to lying about a phony bribery scheme involving President Joe Biden and his son Hunter that became central to the Republican impeachment inquiry in Congress. Alexander Smirnov entered his plea. Is that the guy that we watched? Like, was he in Israel and we watched his video talking about how he was innocent? Or is that dude still on the run and this is a different dude? He entered his plea to a felony charge in connection with the bogus story along with a tax evasion charge stemming from a separate indictment accusing him of concealing millions of dollars of income. An attorney for Smirnov, 44, declined to comment after the hearing in Los Angeles federal court. Prosecutors and the defense have agreed to recommend a sentence of between 4 and 6 years in prison when he is sentenced next month. He will get credit for the time he has served since February Arrested on charges that he told the FBI his handler that executives from the Ukraine energy company Burisma had paid President Biden and Hunter Biden $5 million each around 2015. Smirnov had been an informant for more than a decade when he made the explosive allegations about the Bidens in June of 2020 after expressing bias about Joe Biden as a presidential candidate. But didn't he have like dual citizenship with Israel and shit? And he was trying to I do so many of these stories. We're now coming up on 5 years. In 4 months, we're going to be doing the I don't even know what I'm going to call it yet. The 425th anniversary. I don't remember, Torchy, because it's been a little bit. It maybe even a couple of years, year and a half, something like that. Crazy shit keeps going on. All right. We're going to do a little bit of crime news. We're almost through this. I wouldn't go anywhere, but like you might want to turn your head for this one story. This one story might be a little bit much for you. We have video of a man who was banging on motel doors, holding a guest at knife point.
Arlington police released body camera video of a deadly police shooting at a motel across from 18.
Hold on. The news isn't going to show some juicy shit, though.
TNT Stadium. The incident was on November 27th. The man police shot, Edgar Garcia, was reported to have been banging on doors at the motel. Fox 4's Alex Boyer has more on the investigation.
November 27th, shortly after midnight, Arlington police respond to this gas station located off North Collins Street, where a man was reportedly throwing trash cans around. But as officers arrived on scene, investigators say the suspect, later identified as 34-year-old Edgar Garcia, was hiding behind cars in the neighboring Motel 6 parking lot, eluding officers who eventually cleared the scene.
Who hasn't?
This video, released at a news conference Monday, appears to show Garcia ducking behind parked cars. Then at 1:03 a.m.
the 911 caller reported that an unknown man was banging on multiple doors at the hotel and causing a disturbance.
Chief Al Jones says Garcia tried breaking into the Motel 6 through a locked exterior door. He appears to use an object to break the glass but was unsuccessful. He goes to another locked exterior door and begins banging on it. A guest opens it for him. Garcia makes his way to the third floor where he begins banging on guest room doors.
Why'd you let him in?
Opened his door to see what was going on. Mr. Garcia then forced his way into the room and displayed a knife.
2 Arlington police officers arrive on scene. Chief Jones says they follow the screams and end up at the victim's motel room where the deadly encounter played out, with darkness obscuring the camera's view.
Police! Open the door! No! Open the door! Open the door! Come on!
You can hear Mr. Garcia say, "I have a hostage." He also tells the officer to shoot him.
Garcia died at the hospital. The victim, who did not know Garcia, suffered some cuts but is okay. The 2 officers were not injured.
It's a wonder the cops didn't shoot the victim.
In Arlington, Alex Boyer, Fox 4 News.
Holy shit. Oh yeah, the rest of these stories totally gonna, like, the cops did the right thing there apparently and luckily didn't shoot the victim. It really seems like they shot in the direction of the victim though. The news report left that out. However, the next couple of stories, they're gonna have you pissed off about the police. This happened in Dallas. A man was struck 133 times on his fucking feet.
This is CBS News, Texas.
You know, to keep from crying, I tell jokes or laugh at it. It's, I guess I'm still dealing with it.
An exclusive all-new for you story here at 10. Unnecessary and unauthorized. That is what an internal Dallas police investigation is calling what you see here. A man hit more than 100 times with a police baton on his feet. Officers say Cedric Cheely's failure to obey commands is what ignited the use of force. With that is where we start here at 10 o'clock. I'm Nicole Baker. The man is now suing 4 Dallas police officers who were disciplined until interim police chief Michael Igo rescinded it. Now, we do want to give you a fair warning. Parts of the story may be tough to watch, may be tough to take in, but our Marvin Hurst begins his exclusive examination into the use of force.
Dallas police get a call for an active shooter in far north Dallas, 18,900 Dallas Parkway. It's after 2 a.m. Police body cam video obtained by CBS News Texas show officers arriving at a strip mall parking lot.
You got somebody shooting out here, man? No, ain't nobody shooting. Go through the arm encounter as well. Somebody calling from inside saying somebody's shooting a gun. No, I bet I say ain't nobody shooting.
There was allegedly a fight with no gunfire. The parking lot has groups of people from a business called African Fusion.
Echo 630.
Seems like fucking nothing's going on.
DPD scales down the search for an active shooter, but accelerates the push to get everyone out of that parking lot. It's about 2:21 a.m.
Figure it out. Can't go. You don't have to go home, but you can't be here.
4 minutes later, Cedric Cheely begins talking to Police Sergeant John Matthew Martinez.
There's a whole lot of police out here, like, good Lord. Yeah, somebody called, said somebody was shooting a gun. I ain't heard that. I think it was a fist fight. Somebody thought maybe something else. Well, I think that. Thank you. I stay across the street. I'm like, I can walk home. It's better for you to walk home. You don't want to drive. Don't drive home. I'm all right. Well, you don't want to drive intoxicated. That's too many police out here. You might go to jail. Who intoxicated? Huh? Who intoxicated? Me? I mean, you wouldn't want to chance it. You gotta prove it. Okay, then chance it. Like
Avalon, welcome in.
I know Constitution and all that.
You've gotten here in time. It'll explain itself.
The sergeant calls over Officer Adnan Shaw to explain his suggestion. Officer Randy Roden is not far behind.
Yeah, at this point, it's safer for you.
We're just harassing this guy for no reason.
Tells officers they have no proof he's even been drinking. Police say they can smell the alcohol. For 12 minutes, the officers in Chile go round and round, back and forth.
Okay. I'm gonna walk across the street.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Officer Randy Roden.
But, all right. Yeah, I don't want to talk to him. But it's like, he doesn't understand because he's so intoxicated.
Are you willing to go home right now and not come back? It's just a yes or no question. It's either yes or no.
When I was talking,
go home right now.
You were talking to me. Bye.
Right now.
Bye, officer.
Okay.
Bye, officers.
If you put ankles on me,
no more. No more.
It's
Either yes or no. You go home or I'll take you to jail.
What crime I committed?
Okay.
Come on.
Turn around here and call me back.
Yeah.
What in the hell? Why?
Public intoxication is what you're under arrest for.
Also on that scene, Sergeant Jesse Rodriguez. His body cam captures the incident as it unfolds.
No fucking reason.
I can't walk. There's a better way. I'll wait on it.
Cheely, who says he's a comedian, tells officers he has pins in his hips. 2 minutes later, as they walk him toward a police car,
Oh, you gonna play this?
Cheely hits the concrete.
Get him.
2 Dallas police sergeants and 2 officers try to get a 6'6", 325-pound public intoxication suspect off the ground.
You're gonna go to the county.
He went limp on him.
If you don't sit up, okay?
Police say Cheely made his body dead weight, which they viewed as resisting.
Oh my God.
Calm conversation at a sergeant's squad car. It has now become an intense situation, heading to the back seat of a police car.
Cut the camera on! My work like that. You're gonna go to jail. My hips don't work like that.
He told officers about his hips nearly 25 times. Chile also mentioned bilateral hip surgery. He claims the pins in his hip make it difficult to sit in spaces like the back of a police car.
It is tight in the back of a police car.
Oh, God.
Cursing and screaming. After officers put him in, they let the back window down, giving Chile his shoe. Chile says due to the space and his leg condition, he stretched his feet out of the window. As police searched his belongings, Officer Shaw tries to push the man's feet out of the window back into the car. Sergeant Martinez comes over with the baton.
Watch out. All right. Get your foot inside, man. Get your foot inside.
Wow.
Get your foot inside. Get your foot inside. Get your foot inside. Why are you hitting me? Because you won't put it in. Put your foot in. You ain't got no right to hit me. And put your foot in. You're not listening. You have no right to hit me. I do. No, you don't. You're not listening. No. You want to cooperate or not? You have no right to hit me. Do you want to cooperate or not? You have no right to hit me. You're going to cooperate. I need you in the car. I need you in the car. Who are you? I need you in the car. Hey, what's the name?
This should have never happened.
DPD's internal.
They should have offered him a ride home.
Feet got struck 103 times. Police
if they thought he was too intoxicated to be walking or driving.
The other 3 officers got reprimanded.
They should have
taken the man to jail.
Gave him a ride home.
Hanging out the window.
Put your feet in the car.
So that improper prison transport part, it got tossed out by then Assistant Police Chief Michael Igo. Igo is now the interim leader here at Dallas Police. So we tried to talk to Dallas Police about this case. They tell us that they could not. I can tell you who is talking. Cedric Chile. For the first time, he and his attorney are telling us why this incident is what they call excessive. Marvin Hurst, CBS News, Texas.
You damn right it's excessive. They should have never arrested him in the first place. Should have told him to be on his way if they thought he was too bad off to drive or walk. Then they should have gave him a ride. God, there was a gazillion of them in that parking lot, and nothing was happening. There was no reason for them to be there. This is Cicero, good evening. He better be suing. The Whitehall police have fired an officer. This is Ohio, I believe. They have fired an officer for falsifying evidence in the arrest of an innocent woman.
The Whitehall Police Department is under intense scrutiny right now from the Fraternal Order of Police and City Council. The threat of an investigation into the department is imminent, and Chief Mike Crispin is under fire for his leadership. Well, tonight, the chief fired one of his officers for wrongfully arresting a woman, but the police union says she was targeted because she spoke out against the department. 10 TV's Carly Dion explains.
It's the violation of everything we stand for.
Officer Brooke Cano fired from the Whitehall Police Department after an extensive investigation into allegations of falsified evidence and documentation. Whitehall Police Chief Mike Crispin says the incident happened 2 months ago and resulted in the wrongful arrest and felony charges against an innocent woman. Crispin says the woman's mother filed the complaint with the department on her behalf.
We realized immediately watching what happened during the arrest and what was reported in the arrest didn't match up, and that initiated an investigation for us.
According to
that happens all the time.
Officer Cano falsely documented a confession that never actually happened in an official report. Her body-worn camera shows the arrest.
So what you did is actually felony fleeing, okay?
Okay, something's up. She did something to get on the outs with the good old boys. And they knew about all this already. And they used it on her to oust her. There's no way, like, this is shit cops do all the fucking time. And they would never go back and review that shit.
Arrest.
So what you did is actually felony fleeing, okay? And it's a felony charge. And you'll have 2 of them.
Just last month, Kano was placed on a 3-day suspension following a separate incident. Documents say she used excessive force against a pregnant woman during an arrest, referred to the woman's companion with a derogatory name, and failed to provide medical attention to the companion following a use of force event.
I have zero tolerance for mistreatment of the community, have zero tolerance for lying and integrity issues.
The Fraternal Order of Police,
feel like you wouldn't be a cop if that was
unanimous
true.
vote of no confidence in Chief Crispin, is outraged by Officer Kano's termination.
These are frivolous charges. I've read the charges. They're saying lack of PC. I've been a cop, not only a cop, an inner city police officer for 20 years. He absolutely had probable cause to effect that arrest.
So I brought those claims to Chief Crispin.
The FOP is going to make allegations no matter what we do over here.
They're also claiming that Officer Kano was dismissed on frivolous charges. What do you say to that?
Well, if you think what I just said was frivolous, then I guess I would ask them, do you think this is frivolous when you take someone's liberties from them when they didn't?
No, it's not frivolous.
FOP Capital City Lodge No. 9 President Brian Steele believes she was targeted for speaking out against Chief Crispin. But the chief says they have to do their job to protect the community from officers doing what they're not supposed to do.
Whether Cap City 9 likes it or not,
have we seen a picture of
we
her?
will make sure our officers do not mistreat the community.
Chief Crispin tells me they've passed Officer Kano's case on to the city prosecutor's office to determine if criminal Kano fired from the...
What did her tattoos look like? I'm interested in what all her tattoos might look like. I don't see anything incriminating in the shot.
To do their job to protect the community from officers doing what they're not supposed to do.
There's definitely a tree.
Whether Cap City 9 likes it or not, we will make sure our officers do not mistreat the community.
Chief Crispin tells me they've passed Officer Kano's case on to the city prosecutor's office to determine if criminal charges should be filed. In Whitehall, Carly Dion, 10 TV News.
Thank you, Carly. Wow, jinx. Carly did a really good job. You know who else did a really good job? Hats off to the working men and women of this country. A road sign. Where did this happen at? And I don't even know. I don't even fucking... Seattle. It happened in Washington. Okay. That makes perfect sense. This sign was seen in Washington, a portable electronic road sign. One less CEO. Many more to go.
I hope that there is some eyes open and that there is a transition and we see some healthcare reform.
I love it. This is something has happened. There has been a change in the public zeitgeist. There is a shift in the consciousness. This has set something off, and I fucking love it.
I hope that there is some eyes open and that there is a transition and we see some healthcare reform. But whether or not this is the action that spurs those conversations further along and actually creates concrete change in our healthcare system in this country, I'm not quite 100% confident in that.
Not this one action alone, but it could be the catalyst for many other actions. According to the Seattle Department of Transportation, the sign did not belong to a government entity such as the Seattle Department of Transportation. The Washington State Department of Transportation. The sign belongs to a private construction contractor. An SDOT crew was dispatched to investigate the sign, but when the crew arrived, the message had already been removed. It's not yet known who tampered with the sign. One less CEO. Many more to go. Nigel Farage is incredibly upset. I'm gonna have to. I think Smokey may have seen another cat out the window. There are many cats that roam this neighborhood. I saw them. I brought Smokey and Socks and Maynard here. We'll have to catch you up on the whole story. I think we've got video to go with this. You're gonna be captivated by this one. It's got everything, including a very hot OnlyFans model. Nigel Farage has expressed his fury today after an OnlyFans model who threw a milkshake in his face was spared jail time. Victoria Thomas Bowen, 25, launched the drink at the MP outside a pub in Clacton-on-Sea during the general election campaign on June 4th. Dramatic pictures showed how the mother of one hurled the contents of a McDonald's cup towards Mr. Farage, catching him full in the face and leaving him with thick yellow milkshake splattered all over his dark blue suit. Wearing large black sunglasses, a smart gray dress, and high heels, Thomas Bowen flashed two fingers up at photographers as she arrived at Westminster Magistrates Court this morning. She was later sentenced to 13 weeks in prison, suspended for 12 months after admitting assault by beating in October. The model had also admitted criminal damages after causing $17.50 worth of damage to a jacket belonging to Mr. Farage's security officer, James Wolfington. Responding on social media afterwards, Mr. Farage said, "We now live in a country where you can assault a member of parliament and not go to prison. The latest example of a two-tier justice." Mr. Farage, now the Clacton MP, was doused as he left the moon and starfish. These words are hilarious. As he left the moon and starfish. What? It's so British. It sounds like something out of Harry Potter. Mr. Farage, now the Clacton MP, was doused as he left the Moon and Starfish Weatherspoon pub in the Essex seaside town. In a victim impact statement read out by the prosecution, the MP said after the incident he felt humiliated with it broadcast on national and international media. This is Victoria Thomas Bowen. This was today in court. She was flashing the peace sign. You can see her Palestine flag pin that she wore. This is the... Oh, there it is. I didn't see it the first time. Beautiful. Over the summer. We totally watched this on stream. Beautiful, beautiful sight. Oh, fantastic shot. There you have it. Victoria Thomas Bowen. Victoria Thomas Bowen. I'm not saying it, in case you want to look her up on her media. Oh, what a shot. I'm not saying in case you want to look her up on her social media.
You live in sexual anarchy?
she nailed him. I'm gonna make that joke. He added he was deeply thoughtful for some time afterwards that next time it may not be a milkshake. Oh God! He put himself up on the cross. Next time it might not be a milkshake. He said the incident is part of a growing security concern. The model was arrested shortly after the incident and told police in an interview that she saw a post online advertising Mr. Farage's attendance that day. She told officers she does not agree with his political views. Before the assault, Mr. Farage had earlier addressed supporters at a rally during the election campaign. Thomas Bowen had originally denied the charges, but changed her pleas to guilty before proceedings began. As well as her suspended sentence, she has also been ordered to complete 12 rehabilitation activity requirement days, 120 hours of unpaid work, and to pay Mr. Farage $150 in compensation, the $17.50 compensation for the criminal damage, $154 euro surcharge. I said dollar. 450 euros in costs. The incident led to wide condemnation from MPs all across the political spectrum. Oh, is it pounds? Oh yeah, euros. The little half circle or crescent moon looking thing.
A titty slap!
Come on now. My milkshake brings all the people to the rally. My milkshake brings all the people to the rally.
It's the spot, I think.
No, that did not hit the spot. He doesn't stand for me, the self-described petite blonde pocket rocket added. He doesn't represent anything I believe in or any of the people around here. He doesn't represent us. He's not from here. The petite blonde pocket rocket. Later posted a photo of herself dressed only in her underwear. Alongside a link to her OnlyFans and lyrics to the song Milkshake. The incident is part of a growing concern about my safety in public. Fuck you, Farage. Not the first time he'd been milkshaked either. This is in 2019 when Mr. Farage was hit with a banana milkshake while banging the drum for the Brexit party.
Any comments?
Throwing the milkshake. Do you regret throwing the milkshake? Have you got anything to say to Mr. Farage?
Good for her. A group of flat earthers went to the Arctic have admitted that they were wrong.
One of the most popular flat earth YouTube channels.
Not for long. All right, guys. Sometimes you are wrong in life. And I thought that there was no 24-hour sun. In fact, I was pretty sure of it. But I respect Will Duffy for being a stand-up guy, at least in the way that he kept saying it was true. I kept saying it wasn't. He said, "Do you want to go? I'll take you." And brought me here, and it's a fact. The sun does circle you in the south. So what does that mean? You guys are going to have to figure that out yourself. Don't listen to my beliefs.
It means the Earth's a sphere, motherfucker. The fucking Greeks knew this shit. That's how we have sundials. God damn. Sundials! Sundials, mother. That's all I have to say. Sundials. They wouldn't work any other way unless we were a sphere. Even that dumb motherfucker like Amari King. Like he's like moon, round, sun, round. Everything else, round, earth, flat. Ooh.
Sir, my opinion, it shouldn't matter to you. But at least you should be able to accept that the sun does exactly what these guys said as far as circles the southern continent. So that's about it. I realize that
damn Flash, that would have been cool.
I'll be called a shill for just saying that. And you know what? If you're a shill for being honest, so be it. I honestly believe there was no 24-hour sun. I honestly now believe there is.
Because he went and saw for his fucking self. Flat earthers, man. And that's what it took. That's what it took in order to convince him. And good for him. Hey, he saw it and he admitted he was wrong. Fucking cool. Do you know that 1 in 4 parents are apparently threatening to cancel Christmas? Wanting to be Grinches. Parents are threatening to cancel Christmas to get their kids to behave this holiday season. I guess this is a new TikTok trend. According to a new study, 1 in 4 parents are threatening to not buy any presents to get their kids to correct misbehavior. Maybe you just have shit-ass kids. Those look like shit-ass kids. Experts warn that threats can backfire, especially when parents do not follow through. Parents should learn to lean on each other and not be afraid of public meltdowns when they happen, experts say. Who are these experts? I don't like citing experts. Like you need to like, not that you shouldn't cite experts, people that are credentialed. No, you should totally do that. Or sources that are reputable. No, you can't just say experts say. Who are these experts? Is it the Family Research Council? Are you calling them experts? Because they certainly the fuck aren't. I don't think they would say that either. Can't threaten kids to not give them Christmas. Like you can't threaten cats to not get in the Christmas tree. I feel like we didn't really get to watch this last night. At least I didn't. There's Live Music Monday. We're going to do Taylor Swift. I didn't turn on my other lights. I've got another set of lights to put up too. But I don't know that I'm keeping everything in this position. And I don't know what position I'm going to put it in. And that's what she said. The room, because it has a fireplace that has been filled in. And there's no longer a fireplace. I opened the bottle that was unopened. The fireplace has been filled in. It would have been cool to have a fireplace. But because that like hump is over there, I can't utilize that space and it makes things difficult on how to position my desk, my TV. I mean, if you wanna help me put up curtains, like I'm fine with what is here already, and the cats, because like I've got them open. They're open right now because the cats love these windows, and I knew they would. Big giant ass windows with big giant ass window sills. I haven't had a Christmas tree a lot when I've lived by myself, you know. Just seems like, oh, it's a cute little tuxedo. It's hot in here today. I wanted to open the window and I couldn't. Weird. You said privacy, and I'm like, I leave the windows open because the cats get in them. I mean the window. I mean, if somebody wants to walk up on the porch and see me jacking off, I guess go for it. It's a good view. Like, you'd probably be able to see exactly what porn I was watching and everything. They're doing it to themselves. Oh my God, I had this argument with my friend Jesse. I'm like, if somebody comes up and looks in my fucking window, they should not be looking in my window. They should leave shit. Amazon has come twice since I've been here, because like I always like turn the Amazon Prime on. I need to go give somebody my free sub. They've been here twice. I never knew they were fucking here. I didn't even get the notification on my phone. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. I deleted the app off like a month ago because I was like, oh, I don't need Amazon. I never get anything from it. Oh yeah, when you move to a new apartment, you kind of need things like that Amazon offers easily. All in one little go. I have no business getting up in my window. Now, the one thing I will say is, like, some kids came and got my window a couple different times at the other. Because like people be like letting their kids play in the front there. That's probably bad. I should probably, you know, when the kids are around, keep my dick in my pants. Because I was like, still, it's kind of on them. They came up to my window. But here, like, there's a gigantic porch. You'd have to like have something to look in this window over here. And ironically cancel Justin. Yes, Byrotic. I try to make sure everyone comes. My buddy, Battle Opossum, he got a fucking Christmas fucking jumpsuit looking like goddamn Santa Elvis or some shit. Alright. If you're watching on YouTube or the podcast, we're going to go ahead and say bye to you. YouTube people, podcast people, go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's alright to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm JustinFREAKIN. We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol Live. We'll even turn on D Live, because D Live might like some Tay Swifty. I haven't done this in a little bit. I don't even know how to change my shit anymore. Live Music Monday. There we go. The highest grossing tour of all time just ended a couple of weeks ago, so I figured now was the time. Watch the Taylor Swift Eras Tour. Taking on tonight for Live Music Monday. Keep wanting to call it New Music Monday. I've thought about doing a New Music Friday, but you know, people do that already. But curious, you're not into the Taylor Swift? Wait, did I lose everybody? What the fuck happened?